Hi all, welcome to Edumonk. Today we are starting with a session with the Hindu newspaper analysis on the date of September 19, 2024. Okay, we can move to the first news. This first news, it's about one nation, one election. For the next step of one nation, one election, there was a high-level committee which is under our former Prime Minister Ramnath Kovind presided or headed was constituted, and this committee gives some recommendations to the central government about the one nation one election strategy. First of all, we have to understand what is one nation and one election, and there are multiple opinions about different parties, like the ruling party which is uh, supporting the one nation one election, and the opposition party actually not supporting this one nation one election strategy. Then we can go to what is this one nation one election and what is about this strategy, how it works on our Indian scenario. Then, is the one nation one election is the first thing to India, or it was happened in our previous time? We can go to that. Actually, the one nation one election idea, is it against federalism? That's a bigger question. Okay, actually, the talks about one nation or one election, which was started from, sorry, again started from 2016-17 time period. As a part of that, in September 2023, the Union government established a high-level committee on one nation, one election, which is led by our former president Ramnath Kovind. Actually, this committee, which is engaged with the national and state political parties and sought public and jurist opinions, which is potential for our one nation, one election strategies, and also the recommendation of these parties were anticipated here. This proposal raises some concern, also gives some suggestion for to maintain the democratic structure of our India. Then, what is the one nation, one election? First of all, we have to understand that. Actually, this concept talks about the scenario where all state elections will take place simultaneously with general elections of Lok Sabha. All the state elections will take place simultaneously with Lok Sabha elections. In this state election, which includes elections to the constituency plus panchayat, municipalities, everything were included in the state election. Actually, this idea is to streamline the electoral process and reduce the frequency of elections, thus saving the time and resources of our India. Then, this one nation, one election, that's a new idea to India. After our independence, in 1951 to 52 time period, these state legislature assembly elections and the Lok Sabha election happen simultaneously. State elections plus Lok Sabha happens simultaneously. Simultaneously. Then why should these elections were discontinued? That's a major reason for that. The tenure of a constitutional body, if it is in Lok Sabha or state legislative assembly, that's 5 years. But in some cases or some years, there was a premature dissolution. Premature dissolution. For examples, in 1971, Lok Sabha, the election were happened in 1967 and which is dissolved in 1971. That means just 4 years. Within just 4 years, the Lok Sabha is dissolved and new election were happened. So that there was a change made in the complete structure of elections in Lok Sabha and state assemblies. Very fastly, in 1971, very fastly, the re-election happened there and the complete structure of the simultaneous election were completely broken down. In For another example, in 1975, the Indian national emergency, the same thing where happened. That means there was a extension to the Lok Sabha due to national emergency. In the meantime, these kind of uh, issue with the simultaneous issues were there, so that the complete election of structure of India that were in Lok Sabha and state assembly were completely collapsed. Actually, as the part of our constitution makers, there was a norm that the Lok Sabha elections and state elections were conduct simultaneously. Simultaneously, but it it doesn't happen after 1975. So if we looking into the current scenario in 2019 with the Lok Sabha election, only four state elections were happened simultaneously. Others are happened in different times. That's a major issue with it. Okay, then so this is happened to the one nation, one election. Actually, the initial stages after the freedom, India proposed and followed the one nation and one election. That means state legislative assembly elections and the Lok Sabha elections happened simultaneously. But after some time, there was some political issues. Same kind, there was some kind of other internal issues in India, which lead to the distraction of simultaneous election in India. So it is changing the complete structure. Now the government is planning to make the elections in a structure. That means the simultaneous election. That means one nation, one election strategy. Then why this one nation, one election is needed? What's the benefit between the one nation and the one election? The first thing is reducing governance distractions. Governance distractions. If in a state or a country, if frequent elections were happens, it can divert the entire country's attention. So that from the top leaders to local representative, if they are causing a players of administration of various levels, uh, they will fully involved into that particular elections only. They can't contribute to the country's development, so it should negatively impact our country's development. Second thing is model code of conduct, that means MCC. In a particular election time, even if it is in state elections or central elections, this model code of conduct which is imposed during the elections, which delayed key political decisions at both national levels and local levels. For example, a state election happening in Maharashtra, model code of conduct is imposed so that in that particular time government can government could not contribute to that particular state's development because of the model code of conduct. Sometimes even in ongoing project that may faces setbacks as decision duties like precedents leading to slowdown in routine administration that will negatively impact our state, also our country. Then third thing is political corruption. You know that for an election every political party and every leader or every candidate needs a huge money, huge money. These will collect from the common people or business peoples or everyone as donations. Just think that the central elections and state elections are happening in different times. In these two times, every common people, most of the common people and business people have to donate money to these political parties and a particular candidate. That's huge loss for these donators. If there is a one nation and one election, they have to spend money or donate money in just one time. It will not lead to a political corruption. But in multiple kind of elections, there can be a huge chances for the political corruptions. Then fourth one is cost saving, cost saving of, and also the electoral infrastructure. If you consider the first election 1951 to 51 to 52 period of 53, that time we know that the elections were conducted simultaneously. That time as a part of 660 political party around 1874 candidates were there in the election. The complete expense of that election was just 11 crore, just 11 crore. But in 2019 election, you can see that around 610 political parties, around 9,000 candidates. The huge expense were 60,000 crores. 60,000 crores. This in the period of multiple elections in multiple time period. So if you consider, or if you brought forward the one nation one election, there is a huge cost saving for the electoral procedure that can be used for the development of our India. Then the last one, not last at the least, the convenience of every citizens. If there is the multiple elections, every in a different state different kind of elections are happening. If you consider a state, there is the elections are happening after 2 years of Lok Sabha election. Every citizen have to go and poll their vote in every 2 years. Not at all the state election, there was municipality election, panchayat elections. So that in every 2 years there should be one election. So the citizen want to go and poll their vote. It may create an inconvenience for them. So it's a major issue. If one nation, one election happens, it is more comfortable for every citizens poll their vote in a single step for the central government or Lok Sabha or state government or state legislative assembly or municipality or panchayats. Then it can also support or make stable the financial aspects of every state governments. These are the major benefits of our one nation, one election. And there is also, we have to consider, there are certain challenges with one nation and one election. We can look into that. First challenge is we have to consider the Article 83(2) and 172 of the Constitution. This article outlines a 5-year tenure for every government, even if it is dissolved earlier. Is it in Lok Sabha or state legislative assemblies? In present condition, we can consider Lok Sabha completed 5 years, but some state governments in just 3 years. So that if want to impose the one nation, one election, there will be a loss of 2 years for or 1 years for certain state governments. As per the article 83(2), it is proposing a 5-year tenure for every state assemblies or Lok Sabha. So it is against the federalism of each state government or a particular state government. It can contradictory with our it can be contradictory with our constitution. Second thing is the logistic challenges. In logistic challenges, for our elections, we are majorly using the electronic voting machines or EVMs and VVPATs. For this one nation and one election, there should be a need of huge number of these kind of electronic voting machines or VVPATs. It's a major issue there. So the government have to acquire this much kind of machines for the elections. Maybe these machines may not be available, or this machine, if the machine become complaint, it can affect the complete elections. So it's a another major reason against the one nation and one election. Then the third thing is federalism or collapse of federalism. As a part of Article 1, you can see that India is a country, it's a union of states. Union of states. It is specified in Article 1. So, this one nation, one election, which clashes with the union of states, that means if the election is centralized, it can lead to the collapse of state governments and federalism. So it also leads to the conflict between center and states. Then these are the major drawbacks of these kind of one nation and one election. Then how we can actually we was told about 1951-52 there was a simultaneous selection. After that there some changes happened. Due to that the simultaneous selection were completely changed. Even if we are going to bring the simultaneous selection back, but there are certain problems about this kind of one nation, one election. So the government appointed a high-level committee. This high-level committee proposed certain advices to the government uh, to uh, to synchronize these elections. Then we can look into how they are planning to do the simultaneous election in India. For the simultaneous election, uh, the amendment of the constitution, it is very important, which can be explained in two steps. As a part of high level committee, there are 18 amendments were suggested. 18 amendments were suggested. As a part of first step, the simultaneous elections were conducted in Lok Sabha and state level committees or state assemblies, not in municipalities of panchayat. As a part of first step, the elections were conducted in Lok Sabha and state assemblies. For achieve the synchronization, very first day or first week of after conduction of Lok Sabha, a date is released. Date is released for next election. That means one nation, one election. That means with the next Lok Sabha election, the state elections were happened. Even if it is the state assemblies were completed 5-year tenure or not. For achieve the synchronization, there should be a change in the constitution. That means in article 83, that means in article 83 the duration of house of parliament, and article 172 duration of state legislature. In 83, duration of parliament and duration of state legislatures of the constitution, so that uh, they can conduct the synchronized or simultaneous election in India. For the amendment of these articles, there is no need of ratification, from states. There is no need of ratification from the state. In the second step, each government should synchronize the elections of municipalities and panchayat with the elections of Lok Sabha and state legislative assembly. That means the way of the local body elections, which should happens in 100 days of after 100 days, of elections to Lok Sabha and state legislative assembly. So while brought these elections with Lok Sabha and state legislative assemblies together, there is a need of insertion of article, that is article 324A. That means which state that parliament may make a law to ensure that elections to municipalities and panchayat be held together with general elections. That means as a part of insertion of this article 324A, there should be a law which should be developed for ensuring the elections of municipalities and panchayats to be held together with the general elections in India. And also there should be a need of single electoral roll. That means these are the ID cards which should be created by the Election Commission of India, which can they have only authority to prepare the electoral roll and electoral ID card. That means for every election there should be a single electoral roll and a single ID card. So that if these kind of activities to be happen, there should be an amendment needed, uh, which should be ratified by one half of the states, one half of the states. For the elections of state legislative assembly and parliament, the duration can be reduced through an amendment. For that, there is no ratification needed from the state. But in the case of single electoral roll, there is a ratification needed from one by third of states. Sorry, one by half of states. Then the simultaneous election, it's actually does not happen in India only. In South Africa it's happening, in Sweden it is happening, in Britain it is happening. Some of the countries, they are looking into this kind of simultaneous elections. Actually India, the plan of India were after freedom, uh, the simultaneous elections, but there are certain conditions which actually collapse the structure of the elections in India. Now the government is planning to revive the particular structure which can reduce the cost of elections, and that amount can be used for the development of India. Then we can move to next news, that is about Indus Water Treaty, and also the in permanent Indus Commission. In this Indus Water, we have to understand about what is permanent commission, Indus Commission. Then 64 volt Indus Water Treaty. Then also what is the treaty of 1960 about 6 Himalayan rivers, how it is affected. Also there was a recent news about the Krishna Ganga river and the Ratle hydroelectric project. First of all, we can talk about what is Indus Water Treaty. This is the treaty between India and Pakistan. Actually, it is the landmark transboundary water sharing mechanism. Landmark transboundary water sharing mechanism. In this, it is between India and Pakistan, which belongs to Indus River. Indus River. What's the history between this particular Indus Water Treaty? Uh, for explain about this Indus Water Treaty, we have to consider specific condition about before the partition of India and Pakistan, that is pre-independence. As a part of the preceding partition, 6 rivers of Indus Basin, that is Indus, Satluj, Bias, Ravi, Jhelum, and Chenab. These are the 6 rivers which is a part of Indus river system. If you have a atlas, you can see these rivers on your atlas. This is a common network, and that's why it's known as Indus river system. These are flowing to both India and Pakistan, and most of the rivers, or the Indus river, which is originating from the uh, Tibet or Himalayas in the Tibet or Manasarovar Lake. As a part of partition, this is before partition. After some time, so at the time of partition, India raised a question about the distribution of water between two nations. The partition time period, India raised question about the distribution of water between two nations about river system, because this Indus river system is flowing both in India and Pakistan. So as a part of it, in 1948 there is a inter-domination accord. There is a inter-dominion accord. In, in, in this inter-dominion accord, which is proposed in May 4, 1948, laid out that India would release enough water to Pakistan in return of annual payment. That means India release water for Pakistan, and for that Pakistan pay money annually. That is the 1948 Inter-Dominion Accord. However, the problems of this arrangement were soon realized and considered necessary to find an alternative solution. Uh, as a part of that, again in 1960s there was Indus Water Treaty were proposed. Indus Water Treaty were proposed. For this Underwater Treaty, the mediator was World Bank, which is the mediator. And as a part of that, there is a particular set of rules were drafted about the sharing of river waters between India and Pakistan from the Indus River system. That's a major provisions of this particular treaties. First thing is this complete Indus River system. There are 6 rivers. These 6 rivers to classified into 2 category. First one is Eastern River System and Western River System. Eastern River System and the Western River System. As a part of Eastern River System, 3 rivers were classified such as Ravi, Satluj and Bias. Ravi, Satluj and Bias. In Western River System, there are 3 rivers: Chenab, Indus and Jhelum. These 3 complete rivers, which had an annual flow of 33 million acre foot, and these 3 rivers, Chenab, Indus and Jhelum, which have a annual flow of 80 million acre foot. That's a difference between eastern and western flowing rivers. These western river, the control of eastern river system is completely lies with India, and the control of this western river system completely lies with Pakistan. So in the eastern river system, our Indian government or India can utilize the water. They can construct dam, also introduce hydroelectric projects in eastern river system. But in western river system, our India has a limited access. That means we can use the water of these particular rivers. You have to consider the annual flowing capacity. In eastern river system, which is under the control of India, is just 33 million acre foot, and in control of Pakistan, the western river system, there is 80 million acre foot. So the water of these rivers can be used by India for only irrigation use. Irrigation use. And also they can construct some small dams and hydroelectric projects. But the specific condition is they can they can't stop the natural flow of water. They can stop the natural flow of water, so that India can construct huge dams or huge hydroelectric projects in these kind of rivers. But the contradictory situation is a greater water flowing to through this river, which can be used by India. Here we consider the water dividing ratio. There is 20%, just 20 percentage for India and 80 percentage for Pakistan. These rivers are actually flowing through India, but India can utilize that particular rivers for India's development. That's a major issue between Indus Water Treaty. Actually, if you consider the Indus Water Treaty, it is the only cross-border water sharing treaty between two nations in uh, Asia. Then, uh, if you consider the population, Pakistan has lesser population and India has huge population. Even if it is first in the world, we can't utilize these kind of rivers because of this Indus Water Treaty. But India didn't take chances, or they didn't brought any kind of issues with these kind of Indus Water Treaty. They want to make any kind of problems. There are many chances to completely destroy the deal, as we are seeing in Mumbai attacks, Uri attacks, and Pulwama attack. India can actually destroy this treaty, but they never did this. But they are just talking with other governments about this treaty. That means the Pakistan government, uh, for more water for India, also the uh, hydroelectric projects. Recently, there was a problem with the river Krishna Ganga, a new hydroelectric project which was uh, established there. That means satellite hydroelectric projects. Uh, the Pakistan made issue with these hydroelectric projects. So actually, the crisis situation is happen between India and Pakistan. Then we can go to next news, that is about 5 lakh to each to transform tribal houses into homestays. That means the government is planning to uh, develop our tourism destination, uh, which are helpful to our tribal people. That means government is planning to give a particular 5 lakh rupees to each tribal peoples to build a puka house, puka house, which they can be used as homestays, homestays, homestays. The major aim of the government is to attract more tourists for our natural beauty, and also develop the tribal people or backward people with this kind of tourism development. This will comes under the Swadesh Darshan scheme, and here is the Swadesh Darshan scheme and Pradhan Mantri Janjati Unnat Gram Abhiyan scheme. There are two schemes. Here we have to first consider what are these schemes. That means Swadesh Darshan schemes and PMJUGA. Then also we have to consider how the tourism can develop this uh, lifestyle of tribal people. We can move to that. First of all, we have to consider what is Swadesh Darshan scheme. Actually, this scheme, Swadesh Darshan scheme, it was launched in 2014 and 15 as a part of integrated development. Integrated development. Integrated development that is based for, or it's for theme based tourism development. Theme based tourism development, it can be Buddhist circuit, spiritual circuit, wildlife circuit, tribal circuit, heritage circuit, northeastern circuit, Himalayan circuit. There are different kinds of theme-based tourism circuits which are developed by the government under the Swadesh Darshan scheme. This Swadesh Darshan scheme is 100 percentage centrally funded. There is no share of state governments. This which converges with another schemes of central and state governments, and also there should be the contribution from the corporate sector. The major objective of this Swadesh Darshan scheme is the position the tourism as a major engine of economic growth and job creation. So that the government developed circuits under Swadesh Darshan scheme, which having the tourist potential as a planned and a prioritized manner. These kind of tour destination which can promote the heritage, and culture in different aspects, which can enhance or attract tourists in a sustainable manner. This is actually the plan of Swadesh Darshan scheme. After the successful of the Swadesh Darshan scheme in 2014-15, government again introduced Swadesh Darshan scheme 2.0. The major mantra or tagline of this SDS 2.0, which is vocal for local. The major objective of this SDS 2.0 is vocal for local, that is Atma Nirbhar Bharat. That means self-sustainability of India. For self-sustainability of India, every citizen of India should become self-sustainable. So that government actually targeted the tribal peoples, uh, and government is planning to develop a lifestyle development opportunity to them by giving around 5 lakhs rupees each uh, for them to develop their houses, and also convert into tourist destination and homestays, which can give high returns to these kind of people, so that their development will be held as a part of the Swadesh Darshan scheme. It's not an incremental change, it's a generation shift that evolved to Swadesh Darshan scheme. So that these STS 2.0, which can uh, promote the culture and heritage, adventurous tourism, ecotourism, beach tourism, these kind of tourism can be highly promoted as a part of this project, and government is planning to uh, provide a widespread awareness all over the world about this project, which can attract most of the tourists to India. There were different kinds of schemes as a part of SDS 2.0, that is Prasad Prasad scheme, focusing on developing and identifying pilgrim sites, which is related with pilgrim pilgrim sites, also iconic tourist sites or Buddhist conclaves. Then also Dekho Apna Desh initiative. These are as the part of this Swadesh Darshan scheme 2.0. Then why is important? Why this kind of project is important? If you consider uh, our total tourist or the contribution of tourism to our GDP for year 2019 and 20, it is around 15.34 percentage. It's a huge number. If you consider it is in 2018-19, it's in 14.87, and 2017-18, it is in 14.78. We can go to next news. Before that, we have to consider one more thing. As a part of the Swadesh Darshan Scheme 2.0, government included Debriga Wildlife Sanctuary. Debriga Wildlife Sanctuary as the part of this Swadesh Darshan scheme. So we have to know about what is this Debriga Wildlife Sanctuary. This Debriga Wildlife Sanctuary, which is located in Odisha. This Debriga Wildlife Sanctuary, which located near to Odisha, that means Hirakud Dam, which is in Mahanadi River. We have to find a special mention to a particular person, which is a freedom fighter, Veer Surendra Sai. Veer Surendra Sai. He was a freedom fighter. Uh, he was based at Barapatra. Barapatra, which is nearer to this particular place. From this place, he were started many kind of rebellion against the British people, which is located near to the particular sanctuary. And this area declared as a wildlife sanctuary in 1985 by the government. Here we are considering the vegetation. It is dry deciduous and a mixed forest. We are going to flora, the major trees which is found here, sal, asana, bicha, daura, different kinds of trees which were seen in the dry deciduous forest are seen here. Also, we consider the fauna. There are a huge variety of animals like tiger, sloth bear, leopard, hyena, spotted deer, and antelopes. Then we can move to next news. That's about the attacks against Hezbollah by Israel through the pager devices. Here we have to understand what are these pager devices. What is this pager devices? Or otherwise, it's a walkie-talkies and even solar equipments, which is happened in Beirut. Then, if you consider this kind of pager, it can be tellers or beeper pager or beeper. It's a portable communication device. These were uses a radio frequency for transmitting messages. So these pages were using radio frequency. It were largely replaced by mobile phones in 1990s, but the group Hezbollah, which is still using pages for their internal communications. This is because of uh, if they use mobile phones, other countries or other military units can track them very fastly. By using these pages, they were very safe, but now it's completely destroyed because there was a blast happening in every pager device, which leads to many people's death and also in many injuries to every people. Then we have to understand how this pager is works. The pager, the pager which is actually working on radio frequency. It have a paging controller. Paging controller. Through this paging controller, we can set through external events or provide manual manual entered messages. Also, we can schedule the messages. Schedule the messages. This page controller, this page controller provides the message to page transmitter, page transmitter. Then this transmitter provides this message to different pages. Different pages. This can be pager 4, pager 3, pager 2 and pager 1. This way each kind of pager is actually working. As a part of the Hezbollah bomb blast, we can say that in each bomb pages, a particular group. I am not saying it's Israel. It's not confirmed. That's because of it's not confirmed. A group actually filled some blasting material inside the pager, and which is electronically connected to pager that can be operated through messages. So as a part of that particular group put a message which is connected with this particular blasting material or equipment, so that it will blast and uh, made huge loss for the Hezbollah group. Then here only we have to consider the concept of radio frequency. That means pager is working on a radio frequency. That can be comes to the prelims examination. The next question is, next news is about the Damodar Valley River project. This Damodar River made a flood to West Bengal. We have to understand what is this Damodar Valley River project. Okay, here we have to consider the Damodar Valley River project. Actually, it is a multi-purpose river valley project in India. That means the multi-purpose river valley project means these projects were the large scale of infrastructure projects which constructed on the rivers to fulfill the various purposes simultaneously. It can be hydroelectric projects, dams for irrigations, canals, powerhouses. So the government or particular authority integrating these kind of project in a particular huge infrastructure. That means the multi-purpose river valley project. The major objective is irrigation purpose. It can be flood control or hydroelectric power generation or water supply or navigation. In this Damodar Valley project, often itself as DVC, it is located in Damodar River, which are located in West Bengal. Located in West Bengal, but Damodar River Basin, Damodar River Basin in West Bengal and Jharkhand. Its major objective is irrigation, hydroelectric projects, hydroelectric projects, flood control, and industrial development. Industrial development. Then we have to know more about what is Damodar River. Damodar River. This river, which is originating from the Palamu Hills. Palamu Hills of Chota Nagpur Plateau. Chota Nagpur Plateau, which flows southeasterly direction entering to deltaic plains of Raniganj and also drains to the Bay of Bengal. It has numerous number of tributaries. Tributaries of this Damodar River. First one is Barakor, Konar, Bokharo, Haharo, Jamunia, Khari, Guina, Khadia, and Bera. These are the tributaries of this Damodar River. The biggest tributary of Damodar River is Barakar. It is the biggest tributary. This also Barakar is located in the Patma, which is in the Hazaribagh districts. Actually, earlier this river Damodar, which is known as Zoro of Bengal, because it were created frequent floods in West Bengal plains. That's why it were known as Zoro of Bengal. At present, Damodar is most contaminated water in India due to various industries that have mushroomed the river banks. And most of the industries which are near to this Damodar project is coal-based industries. Coal-based industries which completely contaminated the Damodar river. Then we have to consider the next topic or next two, that is Chandrayaan 4. For the Chandrayaan 4, the ISRO applied for an approval for a particular orbit that known as Venus, which is the approval got from the Union Cabinet. Here we have to consider why the Chandrayaan 4 mission is important and what is about the Chandrayaan 3 mission. Actually, the Chandrayaan 3 mission was successful, which the orbiter which is landed in moon surface. As the success of this project, the ISRO is planning to Chandrayaan 4. It's a lunar sample return mission. Chandrayaan 4, it's a lunar sampling return mission. The key objective of this mission is, first one is achieve a safe and gentle landing on lunar surface. Landing on lunar surface. Second one is collecting samples Third one is lifting off from lunar surface. Fourth one is docking in lunar orbit. Fifth one is transferring samples between spacecraft modules and returning collected samples. These are the major objectives of this Chandrayaan 4 mission. In this mission, there is a propulsion system which is responsible for transporting to the lander and ascender. Then there is a propulsion system, then descender, ascender, then transfer module, then also there is a re-entry module. This is not much important. I will make a video on this particular topic. Here you have to consider what kind of rocket which is used for this Chandrayaan 4 mission. That is this Chandrayaan 4 mission which is using dual rocket launch strategy. That means this Chandrayaan 4 using two kind of rocket. That's different rockets. First one is launch vehicle Mark 3 and second one is PSLV rocket. The LVM3 or this launch vehicle Mark 3, which is a heavy lifter which will carry the propulsion module, ascender and descender. But this PSLV which will transfer the complete system in lunar orbit. So they are using a dual rocket strategy here. Then also they are using a particular technology which is known as space docking experiment. Space docking experiment or SPADEX. Then what is this space docking experiment? Here this SPADEX technology means to make a successful docking of ascender module and transfer module in lunar orbit. That is known the SPADEX technology or the docking experiment. Then here you have to understand what is ascender module. Ascender module means this is a part of the lander which collect the samples and lift off from moon. Then what is transfer module? These are the transfer modules. These are the modules which collect or receives samples from ascender module and which transports them to re-entry module. Okay, I will explain these kind of system like propulsion, descender, ascender, transfer module, re-entry module systems too. First one is the propulsion system. This propulsion system is responsible for transporting the lander and ascender stages to the moon. Then descender. This descender mechanism or descender system is designed for the lunar landing, carrying equipment for soil sampling. Then ascender module. This ascender, which is detached from the lander after collecting the samples, then lift off into lunar surface. Then transfer module. This transfer module receive sample from the ascender device and transport to re-entry module. This re-entry module, these are the module which will brings the lunar samples to Earth. That means the returning module, that is re-entry module. This is the complete component of the Chandrayaan 4 mission. Then we can move to the next news, that is PM Asha scheme. In this PM Asha scheme, government or this particular news, there is a mentioning of fair remunerative price. So here we have to understand what is minimum support price and fair remunerative price. In this first condition, this minimum support price, which is fixed by the union government, that is Cabinet Committee on Economic Affairs. But in the fair remunerative price, this is fixed by Cabinet Committee on Economic Affairs. That will not go to the union government. This prices, this MSP and the FRP, the both prices were recommended by CACP, that is Commission for Agriculture Cost and Prices. Commission for Agriculture Cost and Prices. Agriculture process and prices. Then here in this MSP, the product or the crops which are purchased by directly by government. In this FRP, a particular mills or persons will purchase the product. That means in MSP, government purchase the particular product or commodity and the government pay back to the farmers. In this condition, in FRP or fair remunerative price, government or Cabinet Committee on Economic Affairs will decide the price. In that particular price, the farmers can sell the product to mill or particular persons or other kind of sellers. Most of the cases, the FRP will provide to commodities which have small shelf life. For example, sugarcane. Other commodities are purchased or collected through these MSP. So you have to understand the difference between MSP and FRP. In addition to that, there is another one pricing mechanism, that is state advised price, that is SAP. SAP means each state government they have also a collecting or procurement mechanism, that is known as state advised price. State government will decide a particular price on a commodity and they will procure that particular commodities and give the money back to the farmers. Most of the cases, SAP or state advised price is larger than the minimum support price. Okay guys, thank you. I think you will understand about this topic. If you like the complete video or if you got the information, you can subscribe my channel. Also, you can become as a part of my Telegram channel for more information. Thank you all.